Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Randy. Things are less chaotic for me personally. Let's get into it. It has been a while. All I remember is that his brother is, oh god, what was his name? Good morning, Max. Oh, yeah, good morning, sweeties. Oh yeah, because he was accused of murdering the, runner of the circus, but then there was the other guy, the trapeze artist, who him and his brother were highly injured from a lion. I'm trying to figure out how that's gonna connect back to Max, other than the fact that Max and the guy's brother were in a love rival, but in theory also the puppet. Let's just get into the love polygon. You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today. God, it's been a while and I've forgotten how to talk. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. That shit's poisoned, ain't it? My money's on Regina. It really is. Regina! How fabulous, my sweetie pie princess. You came to watch my performance today? Of course I did. Mo told me that I should come and watch this. Wait, who is Mo? Who is Mo? Mo said that. Oh, Mo is the clown. Again, it's been a while. So, what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end? It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't... yeah, she doesn't seem to realize what's going on, or even where she is. Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. That's all she knows. I'll see you later. Today, I'm just a member of the audience. Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You're the best. Gina's different, don't you think, Nick? Top of the morning to you. Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go? Mo, I think you might be hitting a new low, but we'll see. Mo. Top of the morning to you, Governor. Top of the morning. That's the ticket. Attack of the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms lack higher brain function. This dude's just shitting on worms now. Here, Max, how about you a present? Have some milk. They really are trying to kill Max. Oh my. Thanks. So, how are you today, Wright? Well, I've got the feeling that today I'm going to face off against the real culprit. You mean Acro? Huh? You think he did it? Be careful. He's used to putting his life on the line. Literally. He's got guts to spare. If all I've got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is, I'm used to it already. It just means that I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses. What are you going to do then, Nick? And I guess today we'll just have to do with our usual psychological warfare. Today we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro and to the truth. You're right. It's gonna be tough. Do we really believe it's Again, Acro has reason to kill Regina. Or to frame Regina, not Max. That's the thing. Why would he choose to frame Max other than just opportunity because he had the shit there? He would have more reason to go after Regina and not... What's his name? Where's our dead dude? Russell. Like, that's what I'm getting at. Anyways, I want to make sure that today Regina sees it all. It's important. What are you, legal guardian of her now? Then she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father. Oh, she's been going around. Wait, didn't she say something about her dad being a star up in the sky? Like, doesn't she understand he's dead, though? Like, I'm pretty sure she does. You want us to make sure Regina watches? Yes, that's why I brought her here to court today. Okay, so basically, I could have swore she understood that her dad was dead. What's that supposed to mean? She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. It doesn't matter what happens to their dead bodies and souls. They're dead. Mo, what are you trying to get at? I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars. It doesn't. What do you want her to believe? That he's just rotting in the ground? It'd be better to take her to the fucking morgue than to court. We're not showing the dead body, Mo. Just because you haven't been in society for like 18,000 years does not mean that we're randomly going to wheel in a dead body. I don't understand why he is like, this is where he's putting his stand. Like, I'm just like, she knows he's dead. Does she just want, or is this where he's gonna kill Max with the milk? Because I'm like, no, that shit's poison. And like, they kill him, and then Regina watches someone to actually just die. Instead of like disintegrate into a star. I don't understand that, Mo. I don't understand it. Court is now in session for the trial of Maximilian Galactica. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Miss Von Karma, you may proceed with your case. The prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of events. What's the meaning of this? We have discovered a new witness, or shall I say, a new eyewitness. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off from the scene of the crime. Order. I had a feeling something like this would come up. Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation to the prosecution will present if the need so arises. In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene on my orders. Or gumshoe. I want to see this diorama so badly. I hope we get to see it. Very well, please call your witness to the stand. Time to get to work. Or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope? Oh. No. I love how the birds are there and everything is just risen. Name and occupation. Ken Dingley, but everyone calls me Acro. I'm employed as an acrobat at a very big circus. I don't remember what the voice I gave Acro. Because I think by the time I got to Acro, I was like rushing to finish and I did not even think about it. Where were you the night of the crime? I was in my room that night. If you look at the map, you'll see the witness's room is near the crime scene. My room's on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window. The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed? Okay. I just love also the fact that the birds are there. It was just after 10 p.m., resting in bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. It's Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. And to be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. This witness testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown. If that's the case, there's very little the prosecution need add. All that's left is to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night.
Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness.
A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool. A man must know the proper timing for things, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edgeworth did.
Oh!
Girly Bob, what are you doing? I am here for this psychological warfare as well. But girl. Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony?
In the words of Ms. Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There's no way that actually happened.
Very well, you may proceed with your cross-examination. But we know that, like, Max does, like, uses, like, has to get pulled up. I want to look at a couple of things real quick. Just so I can kind of get myself back on track. One moment. Okay. I want to press this.
The light in your room was turned off then, right?
That's true. I was going to bed after all.
So with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window?
The safety light lit things up enough for me to see, but honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my room. It was that person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front.
Did you see any of the other symbols?
I clearly saw the silk hat, as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica.
The more I press him, the less results I seem to get.
Maybe there was something fishy with his latest bit of testimony. I'm trying to think, because, like... Hold on. Okay, I had to look it back up because there is a contradiction, because the hat was at the crime scene.
There is a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given.
There's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence. She's right, let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction? Why does everyone forget that this goddamn hat was at the crime scene? He couldn't have fucking flown off with it. My god.
Take that!
You claim to have seen the exact same thing the Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that?
What do you mean?
The silk hat.
What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window.
Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering the state I'm in. Just looking outside the window was a tough enough challenge for me. That's a shame, because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene.
I'm just gonna say, he could have, in theory, flown up with it once he got to the top, then it fell off. Like, there's no guarantee that it was there during the killing, but, like, this works in our favor. That's the ringmaster's hat, right?
Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, it's Max's silk hat.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has two silk hats?
No, this is a handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica, which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand.
Hold on. Because I don't fully believe that it's Acro that did this, and Acro not necessarily has been set up. And I understand why he would want to, like, blame the ringmaster, but in theory, it's most of everything that happened to him and his brother is because of Regina, and less so because of the ringmaster. However, with everything that, you know, the recent raise that Max got, I understand that of Mo being like, are you fucking shitting me? So I understand that Mo would frame him, and that would make sense why Mo and him are in the same thing. But also, if it's the ringmaster's hat and he only saw it from behind, he wouldn't have seen the plumage. I don't know. This is all purely speculation on my end. Order, order. As always, it looks like someone just has to open their mouth before thinking. Is Francesca gonna say the same thing I just said? Are you okay, Nick?
Well, I opened my big mouth and now I have to back it up.
How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury in this court today? Here's the thing. I do want to say that he was dreaming because we don't have any proof of him having a grudge, and there is no way that anyone would believe that Acro was a real culprit unless he was straight up just not there. I'm pretty sure it's the dreaming. Except they want us to fully believe that he's the culprit, okay. That's just my thing. But, like, if it's dreaming, then it means nothing to us.
Your Honor, on this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself.
On this occasion? Accuses Acro? What in the world are you accusing him of?
Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry.
I don't understand how we're getting to that other than the one note that we have.
Deadly serious, Your Honor.
I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to have learned how to try and grab at an audience's hearts and minds. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smokes and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book. Really? If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. He's calm enough for it to be almost scary.
I love the one bird that Acro had just like Snow White to him and now it's just attacking us because it's like, how dare we? He is staying rather calm and collected.
Mr. Dingling, do you have any response to the defense's accusation?
I don't really need to say a thing, do I?
What do you mean?
Everyone, take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house.
That's true.
I understand that Mr. Wright is trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things.
See? Even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous. He's right, we're pick on the disabled, you heartless, cruel man. Phoenix is a poopy.
I love the idea of Maya just jumping in and just screaming one of these.
See that, Mr. Phoenix, right? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well. I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice. What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice? Okay, under the guise, I don't believe that Acro had anything to do with it. Just from my memory. And usually it's like, oh, okay, like there's a way to kind of like figure everything out. But like to me, it doesn't really feel like it makes all that much sense for him to have done it. And for him, like, I don't see how he has it. The only thing that makes sense is the fact that someone else came to him, like Mo, and like Mo was the one that killed him. All Acro had to do was just say that, hey, I saw this. Because Acro doesn't have any reason to say it was Max. But with everything, it's like, hey, make sure you're paying attention to the da-da-da-da. We're gonna say this happened, da-da-da-da. And maybe that there's some money in it. I don't know.
It's impossible for Acro to be the murderer in this case. If that's the case, then it's natural for one to consider possible accomplices.
You don't say.
Not good, not good. This isn't going to end well. Don't tell me you think you're going to get off easy. What?
You must not have heard that sound just now. Maybe it wasn't clear enough. The sound of you falling into your own trap can be hard to notice sometimes.
Mr. Wright, it seems as if you won't be stopping at Acro, but will be making other accusations. If Acro did not have an accomplice, things are not looking good for you. I understand, Your Honor.
Very well, let's continue. Who perchance would happen to be Acro's accomplice? I swear to God. They better not fucking say this goddamn monkey. I swear to fucking God. My money is on Mo. That would make sense why he brought Regina here. That would make sense. Mo, I think, is the one who's going to lose the most with that recent, like, where'd it go? With the salary negotiation, Mo has, I think, the most to lose because considering how far back they go, and basically kind of just undermining everything and just being like, oh, okay, we're just gonna focus on Max's fucking bullshit. It would also make sense why the bus went missing if Mo used it to beat Russell Berry to death. The only thing I understand this being for Regina. I understand. I don't understand it being for Russell. That's where I am, but I don't think that's right. I swear to God, if they tell me. I swear. I fucked up. I really fucked up. I still believe I'm right, but apparently I'm not. So I'm gonna have to go back through and fix this. Fuck. I'm gonna process. I don't know. Okay, so I ended up just taking the penalty because why not? Especially, of course he didn't. Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mysterious accomplice.
Not this time, Von Karma.
What?
You're not going to sucker me into this one.
I'm sorry, I still don't believe that Acro has motive. He doesn't have motive to killing Russell. Like, yes, you can say that maybe they covered up what happened to Max, but he's still the one. Like, he went out and fucking killed the lion. Like, if anything, I feel like all of this is aimed at Regina, but how is it going to affect Regina other than the fact that it's like, oh, I killed her dad and I put, like, her potential fiance in, like, prison? But then that's also, like, the same girl that his brother, like, it still does not make sense to me. What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright?
There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself.
Order. What are you getting at? Way to keep them on their toes, Nick.
Now I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry.
Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that?
I know I can't do it. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed.
I don't think I said all that right. It's fine. All right, let's do it then. Mr. Phoenix Wright, if this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right? Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingling? He would have had to have been in his room because there's nowhere else for him to have gone.
He was obviously here the entire time. That's Acro's room. Pretty simple, eh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. In that case, there could be only one correct answer. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster.
What? Are you nuts? What say you, Mr. Dingling? It's an interesting theory.
That's it. Considering what you proposed is impossible, yes, that's it. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor.
As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there's no way he could go to the scene or be the killer.
You've got a point.
It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Mo said he saw Max, didn't he?
But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly.
Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright?
What is it?
I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him?
If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How did he do it? That's the next course at this legal buffet.
Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here...
She's right. I can't mess up here. I've got to give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster.
I'm still not.
And he did it while he was in his room. No doubt about it.
Time to enlighten us as to how Mr. Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright. Let me look, because there is something. Hold on. Okay, yeah, we can present.
I'm going to present some evidence.
So, what if Mr. Dingling used to commit the crime of murder against him? What's that? A picture?
It is indeed. The problem with this is the problem is with the item that's shown in the picture.
The bust?
It's quite a large bust, and because it's life size, it's also very, very heavy.
Heavy?
Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window.
I love how all the birds disappear.
See, this is how Acro was able to kill the ringmaster.
Again, there's no... I don't understand... Like, I understand the motive of Russell Berry kind of like pushing everything under the cover of what happened to his brother, him and his brother. But I'm like... I feel like for the most part, like, he did about as much as he could, unless there was something in terms of the fact that Max got this massive pay raise. And it was like, you're supposed to be, like, taking care of my brother, you know, mine and my brother's, like, health issues and, like, payments and stuff like that. And if it was all of a sudden Russell Berry wasn't able to pay anymore, but yet he gave Max this massive, like, raise, then yes, it would make sense to kill Russell Berry. But then he would also still lose all the money that was coming in for them. So basically then he'd still be killing his brother. Again, it doesn't make sense for Acro to have killed Russell Berry. It makes sense for Acro to have killed Regina, but not Russell. Also, the entire thing of framing Max. Those are the two components that don't make sense to me.
With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust.
And, like, that would make sense why people thought they saw him. Order. So, you're saying the bus fell into the ringmaster. Also, it doesn't make sense that none of the pieces of the bus were still there. Which would mean he would have to have had a fucking accomplice. Because someone would have had to have gone to pick up the goddamn pieces.
A rather simple crime. Even if he were stuck in a wheelchair, it'd be incredibly easy to commit.
How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible.
Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like that bust.
Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges?
Well,
Acro's at a loss for words.
He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth.
I feel like we're missing some spots. But get it, I guess?
Well, Acro, you can't run away from things. It's ow!
I'd watch what you'd say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What?
Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself.
Testimony, you say? Von Karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony.
The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond.
The defense's objection is overruled. Why can't he see things my way once in a while?
Mr. Dingley, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him.
Thank you. Ugh, that woman will sink to any low to win a case.
She is, in theory, trying to be like, hey, just because you think he can lift it doesn't mean he can't. Because also, another thing I'm going to say, I feel like I'm being a lot lenient towards Acro, but I'm just like, I don't see it. I don't see him being the killer. There's just, there's things that we're missing. But, like, we are really just jumping because, like, if he hasn't done anything in 6 months other than kind of lift himself out of bed and rely on people to bring him from the 3rd floor, which also, by the way, why the fuck hasn't anyone been like, hey, take the 1st floor? Everyone in this goddamn circus is a fucking asshole. But anyways, like, my thing is just, like, I would say, like, there's probably a decent chance that his muscles have atrophied, so he wouldn't be able to lift the bus. There are just too many, like, speculative and circumstantial evidence things that are pointing to Acro, and I feel like they should point to other people. I don't feel like this one's necessarily, like, strong. Maybe we're supposed to lose. I don't know. Okay, suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. Have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus, it would have been unrealistic to drop the bust on him, don't you think? Are we also not thinking of the other point? How the fuck would anyone else have been able to get that goddamn bust up to Acro? I wouldn't have even focused on, like, the entire point of being like, oh, hey, can Acro lift this thing? The question is, how the fuck did we get it from the kitchen or the cafeteria to the 3rd floor? Is there anyone that can pick it up and carry it for Acro? Because Acro can't go up steps. I have no doubts in regards to this witness's testimony. It was impossible for him to lift the bus and stick himself out far enough to look. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries. That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? We are, like, freaking clutching at straws right now.
I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination.
He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really.
I can't let her get to me. I've got to focus.
Like, I don't know what we're picking out. I could have lifted something the size of the bust. Strong up, only the legs were injured. Lifting a bus and looking out of the window would have been impossible. If we're talking about him being in the bed, but not if he was in the wheelchair. But, like, leaning over that far. Here's my thing. Did not mean to press, that's fine. Why is that? Because if I were to do that, I'd end up falling out of the window myself. I still haven't gotten much feeling back in my legs yet. So you couldn't have thrown that bus out the window. I cannot think what we're supposed to press. Are we supposed to just press everything because we're like, we have no idea what to look for? Okay. Again, this entire one does not make any sense. let's present this. I genuinely feel like we're clutching at straws. Maybe it's just me.
Acro, you didn't really need to lean out the window, did you?
What are you driving at, Mr. Wright?
You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add.
Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence?
I did such a good job hinting.
Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright.
Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over. The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here?
Who?
When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime.
I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense.
The moment that the bus came falling down was exactly the same moment the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear.
You mean? If the bus were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box,
there would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim.
No! Order! This is unbelievable!
Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going. There's only one way to go from here. Forward.
So the next question I have is, who placed the wooden box at the scene? Are we not focused on the other thing is how the fuck did this bus, which apparently no one can lift but Acro, got up to the 3rd floor when homeboy can't use the bottom half of his body?
It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope. That all he had to do was lower it down. Ow!
Allow me to whip some sense into you. Mr. Phoenix Wright! Ow! The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box.
That's why the box was so specially made.
Specially made?
Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature.
Okay. Like, you look at the weight. Because it's a 20-pound box, but then holding a fucking thing of pepper. But wait, so the fact that the pepper was in it connects Mo, right? Like, there has to be an accomplice. And my money is on Mo. Right?
The box has a remarkable weight.
Weight? According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds.
Just to lift up this wooden box would have required...
Oh, I see. One would have to squat down, then lift it up with their body, wouldn't you say?
That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large.
The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it?
That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means, no matter who you are, your head would approximately be in the same place.
Fool!
He's extra peaceful. Let's even bother to listen to me anymore.
I heard what you had to say.
I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills.
Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box in the plaza?
Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done what he's proposing. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bust? Okay, I'm gonna go for the lulz. I kinda forgot.
Nick, don't tell me you're losing your memory already.
No. Let's not get carried away.
Hey, stick out your head a little. I've got just the thing, a Maya kick. And enough of that. No horseplay in this courtroom. And no kicking the defense attorney. But whipping the defense attorney is perfectly fine. According to the court record, the bus disappeared from the cafeteria.
I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself.
That means...
You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bus from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bus from the cafeteria to my room? Thank you.
Finally. I really hope that Francesca was just like, you know what? Acro has this. I can just sit back and watch the shit show. Because I'm like, the fact that no one has brought that up until now, I'm like, how?
You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright, explain that. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice.
I technically said it at first, and then y'all forced me to change my answer because it didn't fit with. It's fine. Is this just gonna be our first loss?
And tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bus in the cafeteria. Yep, we definitely have a problem here, but this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happen once and for all.
Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How did the eyewitness get the bus from the cafeteria back to his room? I swear to God, if they force us to say that fucking monkey, I'm gonna lose my mind. I hate this so much. I hate this so much. Monkey?
Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size.
Oh, like when he stole the ventriloquist's ring.
So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust? Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own and then brought it back up.
How the fuck is... If that thing is life size and like really fucking heavy, how the fuck is the monkey carrying it up 3 fucking flights of steps? Home?
Money lives in Acro's room.
Acro's room?
Objection! But the bus was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny. Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record. My, those are some nice cards he's holding.
Wrong voice is fine.
Yes, and they're made of platinum, which is very shiny.
He would have tried to have just like breaking them off.
Acro. Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bus back to your room.
He looks like a regular sized monkey, and he genuinely looks like the same size as the bust. But that's just me.
If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate.
Order, order! I said order! It's about karma! Where is the bus in question at this moment?
I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak.
It's a rather strange turn of events. Let's say that the monkey had not stolen the bust. What would have happened then?
Well, in that event, something else would have been used as a murder weapon.
Wait. Then you mean this bus was a murder weapon purely by accident?
It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them.
God, the birds are very interesting, and I really do like the Dutch.
Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer.
Moron! Yeah, I do kind of agree with Von Karma here. Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold some water. There's no denying that. Ow! Don't seem so bamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney.
Fraud?
You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
And what is that?
You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime. There is no reason to doubt the clown's testimony. That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright? The clown could have easily set this up. I still fully believe the clown. I believe the clown did it more than Acro, but I can understand a tandem. With everything that's set up, I can understand it being a tandem thing. I cannot Like, if I was looking at this, I would not have come to that. Nick, don't let her beat you now.
I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around.
When the murder occurred, there were 2 people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Who was the murderer the clown saw? I want to say Mo. Are you... Okay.
He saw Max's...
Ow! I asked who was the other person Mo saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question.
Au contraire, mon frère. It does indeed have something to do with the question. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. He did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw.
God, we are really grasping at straws. How is that possible?
It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust.
What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brains at all in this case? The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak.
There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. It would be easy to hang one of the cards on the bust's hand.
Idiot! Who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust?
Doesn't matter who put it on the bust.
Wait a minute, Miss Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is the utmost importance to this case, don't you agree?
Coming.
So, let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? I'm literally going by the walkthrough because none of this makes sense to me. None of it. Again, none of this makes sense to me. Fool? Him? You were saying it was the victim himself, Russell Berry?
That's what I'm saying.
The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust?
Place the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it.
Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright? Explain yourself. Nick, do you really have a handle on all of this?
I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together.
I don't think we are.
There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright, so you want to know what really happened that night. Let's step back and...
Why can't we just say Max has to have fucking ropes to get him to fly? Why are we still keeping with the premise that he can fly? He has fucking tripwire connected to him. That is the only way that he can fly. We have nothing. That's, I think, all we had to say. And then we could have easily wrapped all of this up. This is without a doubt my least favorite, case we've had. This one has genuinely just irritated me. And nothing makes any logical sense.
Acro used the rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. And he attached that rope to the bust. And dangled the bust out of his bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's coat. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than a ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is where the magic happens. The very instant that the bus hit the victim.
Doesn't explain the hat. You wait a second there, Mr. Phoenix Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be.
It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet.
What?
The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak up, which snagged onto the bust. That impact also caused the sound of a certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Mo Curls, the clown. When Mo looked out of his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Mo saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it. Primarily because in his wheelchair he couldn't see out of his window, so he just kept pulling the bust up. And that is how the magical murderer disappearing into the sky came to be.
Again, there's no motive whatsoever.
So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene, Acro. It could have only been you.
Acro's been playing mind games with all of us.
He sure has, but he has come to the end of his rope now.
So?
What now?
You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale, but do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true? Evidence? In this court, only two things matter, the power of evidence and the power of my whip. Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecutor brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence? Nick, they say they want evidence.
I just explained how there can only be one possible murder weapon method, but there is still something unusual about Mo's eyewitness account.
Unusual?
A contradiction, actually.
Okay then, use that and get out of this jam.
That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright.
Present some evidence to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case.
Okay.
Do we have his testimony? Hold on. Okay, they say they'll post it. We'll trust this.
The problem is Max's three symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Yesterday, there were two contradictions in Mo's testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions.
You fool, do you ever shut up?
Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday. He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the hat was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bust.
Makes sense if you look at it that way, then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of.
Fine, you've got one. What about the other contradiction?
The other contradiction? Remember what that ventriloquist said in court. He said that the witness witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick?
Of course, I can explain all that.
What was that?
Please recall the incident when the cloak snagged onto the bust. The cloak snagged onto the bust. What happened to the white roses? Do you get it yet? If the cloak snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust. Which explains why Mo didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust.
Order! Order! This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads. Let's do this, Nick. Maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. Well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind?
What is it?
You took the time to research our circus, didn't you?
Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't?
If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track.
Why is that?
Motive. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there's absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster.
Acro's motive,
It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well, however, I feel this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of Ms. Dingling's story after recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess. And we will learn about it next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all then. Bye.